Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I wanted to sit down and have a little bit of a chat about some of my goals for 2025 for the garden, the flower farm, also some personal goals. I love making these kinds of videos. I usually make one every year and do a little bit of a recap on the year before. So I thought I would sit down with a cup of tea for this video. So it's going to be a little bit chatty, so I definitely recommend grabbing a cup of tea or coffee and probably a snack as well. And I'm just going to chat through some of my goals that I have and just have a general little catch up as well. It is currently a very rainy, misty day, which are my personal favourite days. I love a cold, rainy day. Today's not really that cold, but I'm cool with the rain. It's lovely, but it does mean that my hair is very wet because I was trying to set up this shot somewhere in the garden that was kind of semi-undercover and just wasn't working for the first few tries. So that is why I have very wet hair, because I have been out in the rain. I have a list of goals that I was going to chat through. And if you know me, you know that I love making lists and I love setting tasks and goals for myself. Even if I don't achieve them, I just love the process of dreaming and working towards something, having something tangible to work towards. I've always been like that, and I know a lot of you are as well. So I hope you will enjoy hearing some of my gardening and flower farming business and personal goals as I chat through today. If you're new here, my name is Robyn and I live here on the south coast of New South Wales, Australia, with my partner, our 2 cats and our almost 3-month-old baby. That is kind of crazy how quickly time is going. But yeah, having a baby was definitely the biggest part of 2024 for me personally, going through pregnancy and the ride, the journey that was, and how I kind of shifted my business goals. It was a lot. So I was running and still am running a small scale backyard flower farm here where I sell to local customers. I have like a little bit of a customer client base now where we kind of chat and I'll do different orders for regular customers. I also sell at my local garden centre. So I usually bring down like about 6 bunches of farm posies, I call them, which is basically whatever I have in the garden. I love to work with seasonal flowers, so I will put together some bunches and take down there, and that's been a really great outlet and has been working for me and worked for me during pregnancy. Before that, I was doing markets, and that was definitely a larger income, I suppose, and I could support myself a lot more. Income definitely took a turn and a downturn during pregnancy just because I wasn't physically able to work as much, which was very expected. And I also do earn a little bit of income from these YouTube videos. So any support that you want to give me by liking, commenting and subscribing really does directly help me out and helps me to continue to stay home with my son, and just helps my channel grow to share more gardening and flower farming knowledge. Other than that, in 2024, a lot of other things happened. We actually purchased our first block of land. So we purchased down in Tasmania. I know a few people know this, a few people don't, but our long-term goal is to move down onto our block of land. Having a baby definitely pushed that back a little bit, but we've always wanted to start a family, so that was, expected. But our long-term goal is to move to Tassie to start our dream garden, and we have so many ideas for what we want to do with our property, and start like another business venture down there that I am so excited to start to talk about here and there. It's very much garden focused, people, community focused, that we will slowly be working on to establish something down on our property. But we are very, very excited, and that was one of the biggest goals of 2024 that we had, and we achieved that. It was not an easy process, and I can chat a lot more about this. I might chat about it on my podcast, on the Peas and Quiet podcast. Also on Patreon, I have documented a lot of that journey. If you're interested, you can head over there and see those extra videos. I share heaps more over on Patreon about kind of like my life and other more personal topics that I don't usually share here on YouTube. But yeah, that was the two main things of 2024. Obviously having our baby boy. I gave birth in November and he is just the most beautiful, lovely little boy. We are really enjoying being parents. It's definitely hard. It's very hard, but we're slowly getting there. And the rain is coming in sideways now, so I might have to move over a little bit under this cover. All right, that's a little better. We'll deal with the rain. I did have a few other smaller goals that you can watch my previous video. I think I did one for my goals for 2024, but those were like the main goals that Scott and I personally had. And yeah, we worked on those last year. I also like to do like a word of the year. I know a lot of people like to do this. I am one of those people. And this year I've chosen the word forgiving and or surrender. I don't know, both of those words are kind of encompassing what I want this year to be about, and I want to be very forgiving for myself. I know that might sound a little strange, but I am someone who is very, like this video, I like to set goals, I like things to work towards, and I can tend to get a little upset when I don't be as productive as I want to, and that is not conducive to having a baby. So with the garden and the business this year, I kind of just want to surrender to a much slower pace of life. I really want to delve into the slow living movement, which I feel like Scott and I, we already are within that kind of lifestyle, I suppose. But I really want to slow down each day and not set all of these goals to be really you know, large and extreme. I really want to just have a manageable year for myself. My main goal for the year is honestly just to get through the year as a first-time mum and learning how to be a mum and learning how to raise a child. I just want to get through the year, and that means that the garden and the business is, you know, going to come second and third, well, probably a little bit further down the line in terms of my priorities, but that's just how this year is going to be. But I am excited about a few things that I want to work on. The first goal that I have on here is to really understand and grow what we actually eat, that I can also grow all year round here. This is obviously going to look very different depending on what you eat, and yeah, for us, what I know we can really kind of grow all round here, or grow a large amount to last us most of the year, is potatoes, spring onion, lettuce and herbs. That's all I have on my list, but that is kind of the staples that we eat all year round that I can grow all year round. There are definitely other things like tomatoes and certain types of vegetables like cucumbers and zucchinis that only really grow in the warmer months, but I can't grow them all year round. So I want to try and just use this garden behind me, this cottage garden, to really grow in succession. So a lot of succession planting of these things to make sure that we have quite a lot. We do have quite a lot of spring onions in the garden. I've still got potatoes that I can harvest, and we have harvested a lot of potatoes, and we do have a lot of herbs. So we're kind of pretty good on that front. I do need to start some more spring onions, and I need to keep going with the lettuce. We were going well on that, and then baby time doesn't really happen. So I want to get back to planting lettuce and greens and spinach and all of those good things. Another big goal that I usually do have every year is to cover the soil, either with mulch or cardboard or tarp. Just make sure I cover the soil. And that's because what's happened in the garden behind me is a clear example of what happens when I don't cover the soil, and that just leads to so many weeds, and it just takes so much more time to be able to plant the area and have a productive garden. So that is another goal on my list. Another big one is to focus on making more worm tea and worm castings. I think this was another goal that I had last year, or pretty similar to, and I want to continue to do that because it's something that I can do. I have like 5 minutes here and there where I can come down and feed the worms, give them a turn, and just check on how they're going. Composting, we're also still doing that. It's a slow process in a cold compost, but I'm just trying to make more manageable goals with my time in terms of composting this year, so that is on there. And I also don't really want to buy too much mulch for the trees and shrubs we have. Instead, I want to use compost that we make, comfrey leaves, garden clippings, and leftover flower stems. So when I make bouquets, I kind of clip, and you know, when you're taking the leaves off the stems and prepping the stems, I usually have a bucket and I'll put everything in that, and then I'll choose a tree or a shrub and just mulch with the clippings from that. So I want to try and not order mulch. I do go through a lot of sugarcane mulch that I'll probably still buy for the actual garden beds. However, I don't want to use it around on the trees and shrubs. I just want to use what I have. In terms of the flower farm slash business, so we are still running the small scale backyard flower farm at a very, very limited capacity. I'm only really doing orders here and there. I've only done a few rounds of bouquets this year for my garden centre, and also just regular clients. I'm going to just be keeping it at the regular clients and taking bouquets down here and there when I can, but it's not going to be a major priority for me. And it's unfortunate that that's the case, but that just is the time in my life right now. However, I'm going to be leaning in on varieties of flowers that I can use more in my online shop. So one big goal of mine is to reopen my online store where I sell botanical bath salts and oracle cards and just things that make me happy and bring me joy, and usually a lot of them are flower farm related or flower related. I don't know whether I want to keep it the Patch in Bloom or go into making the store just the nature patch. I'm not too sure yet, because I do have some big plans for some products that I'm bringing out this year that are going to be a little bit more manageable with a little baby. I do usually wear him a lot around the house. We are very big on baby wearing. He's a very Velcro baby, and you can't really get too much gardening done when you're holding and wearing a baby. So having some products that I'm going to be making with the flowers, but making them inside and selling them, that's my plan for the business this year pretty much. My big goal is really just to keep it running, and whether I make a profit or not, that's totally fine. I just want to keep it running, and as I said before, just get through the year here and there doing things that bring me joy, like running the business. One of the big products that I will be releasing on the website is, I've always wanted to do this and I've always been super interested in it, and I suppose now I can be even more interested in it and see it work in person, and that is delving into the world of natural sensory toys. So things like dried flowers, pressed flowers, little wooden blocks made from materials that I grow here on the flower farm. And that's what I'm going to be working on this year. So hopefully, I'm going to say within the next 3 to 4 months, going to give myself a little bit of grace here as well. I will hopefully be having that online store back up and running and have some more products in there. I have some big plans for nature play and working on different products for that, and I've always been super interested in that, as well as crafts for, you know, people of all ages. I will have some products on the website for that, but yeah, I'm going to be delving into a lot of dried flowers and making some other products that I won't say just yet, but yeah, online store is a major goal. And I also just want to keep it simple. I want to keep growing things that I know I can grow. And if you have watched some of my other flower farming videos, you will know this list here that I will pop up on the screen of plants and flowers that I personally like to grow that sell well here, and I know that I can work well with. And that is statice, feverfew, straw flower, ranunculus, anemones, and stock flower. Those are the flowers that grow really well in my area. We're a very, I want to say, like Mediterranean temperate area. It doesn't get cold here in winter and it doesn't get overly hot. So those grow really, really well here. And just to kind of wrap up all of those businessy goals, I just want to fit things in throughout my schedule. So my days are very limited in terms of time now. I am breastfeeding as well, so I am constantly on a time schedule, I suppose you could say, and I never knew how much little time I would have with a baby. And I know it gets better, but it also, I also really want to enjoy this time with my baby when he is so young, and I want to just have him as my priority, and just to be able to fit in different things with the business where I can is my goal. And I don't know what entirely that's going to look like, but I really do need to prioritize him this year instead of my business. And it's going to be hard for me and my personality to just slow down in that department, but we're going to try. I'm going to try. Right, I need some tea before I continue. My back is getting so wet at the moment from the dripping from the balcony above. So yeah, this is not very comfortable, but I'll try and get through the end of this video. In terms of YouTube, I had a lot of thoughts about YouTube this year, and honestly I didn't actually know if I was wanting to make videos again, because to be honest I haven't loved the way YouTube has been going. And I know that might not make sense to some people, but I just think YouTube is really hard, and that's yeah. I think YouTube is really hard to keep going and keep making content, particularly when there's not a lot of benefit from that. And I mean that in terms of finances, and there is community. Like, I know a lot of people comment on here, and I've made some really good friends actually on YouTube, and it's led to some really great opportunities. But it doesn't have the community that I crave, and that is a smaller, close-knit community, which I more have on Patreon. And that's one goal that I do have for this year, is to really create that community on Patreon. I've been saying for so long that I want to do like monthly catch-ups, have like, a monthly catch-up where we all have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, chat about our guided goals, just have a chat. I'm going to start doing that very soon. Once again, I can figure out my schedule, but I really want that community, and I want to also, and I want that for other people as well, because I know a lot of you do want that kind of close-knit community, and I want to facilitate something like that over on Patreon. And in terms of YouTube, I do want to keep making content, because I did have a bit of a break, and I was a bit sad actually, not making videos and not seeing all the regular people in the comments. So I want to keep making content, but I really do want it to be intentional. And I mean, videos like this there is an intention behind it, but it's not particularly like a how-to garden video or whatnot. But I want my content to be relaxing for you. And if that means that you just want to listen to someone have a chat about their goals, that's the content that I want to watch, and I find that kind of relaxing. And so that's what I want to do for you as well. I really want my content to have the intention of being a space where you can come to relax, have a look at my garden, watch me do some gardening, listen to me talk about gardening, listen to me talk about flower farming, and yeah, just provide that for you. And I don't necessarily want to be too personal on here. I don't want to do all of the real nitty-gritty how-to videos. They take a lot of time and a lot of planning and a lot of editing. I have so many how-to videos on YouTube now, and they do really, really well in terms of money and the algorithm and whatnot, but they don't bring me a lot of joy, to be honest. And I want my content to bring me joy, and hopefully that could be reflected in bringing you joy as well, by creating that nice relaxing space for you. And a big part of that is starting back up the podcast. I want to start interviewing people, start having some more chats, and these chats aren't going to be really rigid or structured. They're going to just be chatting about the garden, and that was the whole point of the Peas and Quiet podcast. love a good pun if you don't already know. But it's a place where we can have a bit of peace and quiet, even though it's not really quiet because we are talking and going through different topics, but I want it to be a relaxing space. So that's why I wanted to create that podcast. And I have a list of people that I'd like to talk to, and also some topics that I want to talk about, including motherhood and business and motherhood and gardening and what that means for me. So I'm really, really excited about that. I just went inside to go change my camera battery and saw how wet my hair is. So anyway, I don't have any other time to film this, so we're just dealing with that. In terms of personal goals, I wanted to just chat through a few of these. I have some other personal goals that I'm not going to chat through, but I wanted to chat through just a few. The first one of those is to start designing our house down in Tassie, and the house layout, the property layout is a big goal of mine to start designing that, and I'll be sharing a lot more of that over on Patreon. I want to connect with a lot more like-minded people, and that's where Patreon is probably going to be the place for that. Also, I've got a few groups of like nature-based play groups that I'd like to go to with my son, and just be around other mums that are kind of around like the same stage of life as well. Because I just really want a little bit more connection, I suppose, and like real connection of actually having conversations with people that aren't just surface level. Another one is just be better with waste. I feel like this is a constant thing for me, but having a baby, I really realized how much waste you do produce, and we have switched over to cloth nappies now, which has been a big transition and a big learning curve for me, and I prefer it so much more to disposable nappies. No shade with whatever you do, like it's totally up to you. For me, I just really wanted to do cloth nappies, particularly because my skin is so sensitive. I hate changing disposable nappies. It's just so bad for my eczema and my hands, and I just really don't like it. So we're on to cloth nappies now and cloth wipes, and it has been working really, really well for us. If you would like some more like information on that, again, I'll be sharing more of that over on Patreon. And also waste with food. That's not a priority for me right now in terms of food. It's very convenient for us right now to sometimes just go down and get some takeaway, even just go down and, to go down and get some fish and chips or Subway or whatever, like once or twice a week. Sometimes we've been doing that. And this is just where I've been surrendering to this time in my life, forgiving myself for just doing that. But I do want to be a little bit better with the food that we have, that we grow, and not actually waste any of it and preserve it a little bit more. And the last goal that I have on my list is really just to surrender to a slower pace of life. I want to spend a lot of time out in nature this year. I've only just started on going walks by myself with Grayson and taking him on a morning walk in the pram where he has his first nap of the day, and I can just go for a walk along the water, get some fresh air, and I can't tell you how amazing that's been for me so far. I also really want to start bringing him out into the garden a little bit more. It's been super challenging with the heat that we've been having, and then I feel like when we don't have a really, really hot day, we have a day like this where it's raining, and it's hard to take a baby out in the rain. But I think he is definitely like his mum and dad in that he actually really prefers when it's a lot cooler. He sleeps so much better, and I think he just prefers that cool weather. I think most baby boys do. Probably most babies in general prefer a little bit of a cooler environment, but yeah, he loves when it's cool. His temperament is so much better. So I think coming into autumn and winter will be so much nicer for us to spend some more time outside and to bundle him up if he needs to be. But yeah, I think winter and autumn activities is going to be a lot more of outside activities in that. I also just want to read all of the books to him. I've found that I really love reading kids' books. I love, there's a few ones that I have that are my favorites, and I just love some of the stories that people write, and I just think there's something so special about a lot of kids' books in that they are very simple but have a really strong message to a lot of them. And I really needed that. I didn't realize how much I needed to read kids' books and to go into those magical worlds that don't have all of the day-to-day politics and horrible environmental news and all of that. I can just relax and really just remember what's important to me. And a lot of the books that I've been reading have been very nature-based. And I feel like I'm slowly building my connection a little bit more to nature, which I've definitely lost living here. It has not been great for my mental health, I will say that, due to a lot of different reasons. But I just find I am so disconnected to nature around here. It's been very hard for us, and there's so many reasons for that. But I'm looking forward to moving to our dream area in Tasmania, and I already have such a strong connection to this area where we're moving to. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. I also just want to be as present as I can be, and even just filming this video, I feel bad that I'm not with him. I just have such a strong bond with him. I know he's fine, he's with Scott, he's having a nap, like it's totally fine. But I do want to be just as present as I can be. I don't want to be on my phone, I don't want to be watching TV while he's like smiling and laughing and enjoying himself. Obviously he can have solo play here and there, but I don't want to miss anything. And I heard someone say the other day that that the kid's childhood is also your motherhood, and I want to look back fondly on motherhood at all different stages, and I don't want to regret anything or have the time pass too quickly, which it already has, but I do want to be really present in just noticing all of the slow things in life, and that can just be the colour of the leaves or some flowers, walking him around the garden and showing him all of the different textures and birds and bugs and everything that happens in the garden, just to really appreciate it and see through his eyes how amazing this world actually is. And yeah, having a baby so far has really taught me so much about living a bit of a slower pace and how beautiful just certain simple things in life are, just by even, going for a walk down by the beach and listening to all of the birds, how amazing that is for a child to see these birds fly past and to hear all of these birds. I'm remembering how actually lovely that is and how important that is for my mental health as well. I'm getting so many water droplets on me. I hope this is kind of picking up as ASMR, this rain. It might not be, but it's relaxing for me. So yeah, ultimately the world is a really scary place, and it's my job as a mum to make this place feel as safe and special as I can for my son, and that's really my ultimate goal for the year. My personal goal is that. Another big part of that is to be present. I need to be financially independent and able to stay home with him, and that's a goal that I'm working towards. And again, you watching these videos and supporting me here directly helps me to do that and to stay home with my son. And I know how incredibly lucky I am to be able to do that, but it is really important for me that I do that for this year. I would love to be able to stay home and be financially okay to be able to do that. So that's again another personal goal of mine, because as much as I don't like talking about money, it's important, and we need it to buy food and to live in this day and age. It's going to be really hard and challenging, particularly because we will be on mainly just Scott's income. But where I can, here and there, with the flower farm, the business and YouTube, I do want to financially support myself as well, so that I can continue to be here with my son and not have to go back and find another job. And that pretty much concludes this video of all of my list of goals that I have for the year. I know it's quite lengthy for some it might not be, but I always have these kinds of categories for me, and I suppose they're a lot more lofty and broad this year, because of having a baby, and I'm excited to bring you along to share how you can also have like a little bit of a side hustle. I hate that word, but it is what it is. To have a side business that you can work on while having a baby. It helps obviously to have a very supportive partner. It's the weekend now, and that's why I'm able to do some filming, because Scott can look after Grayson. I know that's not the case for some other people, and during the week I have to babywear. Babywear is how I get things done and how I do things around the house, and I absolutely love it. So I've got another baby carrier on the way that I've just ordered. I've ordered a Tula baby carrier. Very excited for that, and hopefully that'll be, he's just getting a little bit big for the Moby wrap. I can still do it, but he is a big boy, so I think having a more structured carrier will allow me to continue to do little jobs around the house and to continue to run this business and maybe even get some gardening done. I don't know, we'll see how we go. I would love to know what some of your goals are for the year, and whether there are any similar to mine. If you've got any advice for a first-time mum and running a business and gardening and flower farming, please do let me know. Would love to hear that. I will be making some more sit-down chatty videos about the flower farm over the coming weeks, because I know I've got a lot of new subscribers here who have watched previous flower farming content. So I do have a list of videos that I'm filming for that, in terms of like what I would do next, or mainly in terms of like what I would do differently with the flower farm, and hopefully just give you as much information as possible within those videos. And I do have a harvest vlog that I filmed. I just need to edit, and I am in the process of redoing this whole cottage garden. That will be another video. Just bear with me with editing, because that is the challenge right now, to sit still with baby wearing. It's a lot of moving around, because he doesn't really like to sit still. He likes the movement to be able to sleep, which good on him, because it's probably so comfortable for him. But yeah, editing does take a little bit of time for me, so I don't know how regular videos are going to be, but I do have stuff filmed, just got to sit down and edit it. But anyway, thank you so much for sitting down, watching, listening to this video. I'm gonna finish my cup of tea, kind of like get out of this rain probably. Yeah, it's just getting ridiculous right now. This is what I mean, where I've just got to fit things in where I can with my schedule. Even if it's raining, I've got to sit down and film this video. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and supporting me, watching these videos. If you've made it this far, leave me a little garden emoji, like a little flower or a little leaf or whatever, or just something to do with the garden. Leave a little emoji and I will know that you made it this far in the video. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone.